France24's James André joins me on the set to get a bit more analysis here. Now, James, if this plan does indeed happen, it is just the first phase of what Donald Trump has proposed, but still it seems to be a major victory for the U.S. president.
Now, it is a victory for the U.S. president, and is really very much being hailed as such by most of the world leaders. If you take all the reactions, it is really thanks to Donald Trump, etc. And it's true that what we saw unfold at the very end of September, 29th September, in the Oval Office, where basically Donald Trump did pressure Benjamin Netanyahu into accepting this deal, basically laying bare to him the fact that indeed he needs to have this war stop, forcing him to call Qatar. All this, and of course the 20-point plan that was announced on that day and presented to the world, have made a major difference. Of course, there's other pressure that's been applied, and that includes, of course, a host of countries led by France saying that they were recognizing a Palestinian state at the UN National Assembly. So yes, it is a victory if it does happen, because obviously for this first phase to happen right now, what we have on the ground is bombardments carrying on in Gaza, Israeli government saying that these bombardments and the war will only stop if indeed the cabinet validates the first step of this plan. And of course, the question of how this is actually going to unfold is very present. So what Benjamin Netanyahu, he's not presenting the peace plan at 5 p.m. in Tel Aviv today. He will be presenting the plan for the liberation of all hostages, which of course politically, we've seen these people cheering on the streets, both in Israel and Gaza. That of course puts some immense pressure on the cabinet. But the fact of the matter is, Bezalel and Smotrich, hard right, extreme right, and Itamar Ben-Gvir, also religious hard right, are saying that they cannot accept this deal, with Smotrich saying we're not going to release, a host of future terrorist leaders. So there is maximum political pressure because basically the whole world and Israeli society want this deal to go through. But on the other hand, we do have a couple of question marks there. So, a lot could still happen before what Donald Trump is saying, as in all these Israeli hostages just walking out of Gaza. Because for now, the very first phase, which is ceasefire, has yet to be implemented.
Right, and we have to remind everyone that there have been 2 ceasefires in the past since this war first broke out. Both of those fell apart. What might be different this time?
Well, I think what we have, what's very different this time, is that basically both actors, and that may be Hamas or Israel, have kind of run out of political capital. What we've seen is indeed, the attack by Hamas on the 7th of October. That was 2 years ago. But since, we've seen Israel basically massacre 67,000 people in an enclave that they control completely, with these pictures that have basically been around the world. And that, of course, has had consequences, including the UN saying that this amounts to genocide. This is now an official statement. We have the international public opinion that has basically turned around and is now lashing out at Israel. So, there is maximum pressure there on Israel to, in a sense, stop this, because it has really, damaged Israel's standing in the world. And on the other hand, we have Hamas, which is also very, very weakened. Hamas has lost all its partners I'd say, military partners in the region over the course of a campaign that's been led by Israel for 2 years. Hezbollah is now completely or very, very annihilated, or very, very limited power. We've seen Syria fall. We've seen airstrikes on Iran. So, the situation has changed a lot, and Hamas is also under pressure from the Gazans themselves, who want this to stop. So both actors are now, after 2 years, under intense pressure to bring this to an end. The big question mark, of course, is on the political level inside Israel. There is a lot of pressure, to basically conquer Gaza. And this is the plan that people like Bezalel Smotrich or Itamar Ben-Gvir want to see happen. They want a recolonization of Gaza. And of course, this is something that some will not want to see go. When it comes to the other plans, the other steps of the plan, they are very unclear, not precise. They don't have a calendar. So, that is yet to be defined. And that's going to be very complicated indeed.
All right, James, thanks for that. France 24's James André.